Good morning. Welcome to Market Day Report. And welcome to a Thursday. All right, we're trading this morning. Let's go to the markets, and we'll start with the corn market, which is now in mixed territory. Front month is a quarter higher, 438 and a quarter. It's a quarter penny. Penny lower, though, on the March at 447 and a quarter. What's happening over in the beans? You know, beans have been down 23% year to date, and actually it's been lower week over week and month over month, down a penny 3/4 on the January, 9.93 and 3/4. Part of that Goldman roll into the March at 10.01 and a half, penny and a quarter lower. Soy meal and soy oil, as we quickly look at those, meal in the red. And soy oil, despite having some positive news out in the marketplace, is still in the red as well. All right, to the wheat market, we'll start with Chicago. July, penny and a half higher, 5.81 a bushel. And for hard red wheat, that July contract is one tick higher, 5.82 and a half. And in Minneapolis, front month March, penny and a half higher, 6.08 and a half. New York cotton futures have been on both sides of the trade, at least over the last couple of days. March contract now up 20 points at 70.35, but roll out to December. This will be next year's crop, 71.20, up 2 points. Well, Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading, and Tommy, not in the studio today, so where are you?
I am up in Mayville, North Dakota. We have a marketing meeting here today at 1 o'clock, and really excited to visit with people. Then we're heading over to Fezzen, North Dakota. My good friend asked me to speak at the Wells County Fairgrounds. They have an annual meeting, and for some reason they always love to have me up here when it's minus 15, Tony.
Well, and that was the next question. What are we looking at as far as weather conditions across that area?
Just blue skies and cold weather. There's special type of people who like living up here, I tell you. And you know what? The ground could be good to these people. The North Dakota ground can surprise you with surprising yields. So the farmers up here were blessed with great yields. Mother Nature definitely was large and in charge up here. Crop getting planted late, but the bushels showed up. As you know, I'm in the bushel business, so we have a good plan for them today. We're optimistic how 2024 is ending. No doubt, I'm sure you talked a lot about it yesterday with corn hitting 450 in that March contract. That should have cleaned up some of that old crop between basis appreciation and corn futures rallying. Huge offers in the deck at the CME Group. When you look at the corn futures trading in the ladder, tens of thousands of corn traded around the 450 level. Merry Christmas to the American farmer who just wanted 450 corn in their stocking, Tony.
Yeah, and again, when we start looking at that December 2025 contract, it looks like we might be trying to buy some acres. Would you agree?
Yeah, when you watch the corn spread versus the bean spread, there's some interesting dynamics. The rest of the world's just burying us in soybean acres. They're just planting more and more soybean acres. You know, corn's not as easy to plant around the world with its high cost of production and the amount of equipment and machinery. You can sure drill in a lot of beans quickly, and that's affecting the world markets. Interesting to note, I was at a meeting yesterday in central Indiana, and we had those spreadsheets out. My good friend Brad Downing over there at Cross Creek Ag Solutions, give them a shout out. But he had that spreadsheet out. Chris Barron has this wonderful spreadsheet. He's from AgView Solutions while we're doing infomercials here. But we went over these spreadsheets over and over and over, and it looks like the numbers and the economics look so much better for planting corn. But that's how it looks today. Let's talk in 1 year and see how it ended up. Back to you, my friend.
Well, we don't have to wait a year to talk livestock futures. Just a moment. We'll take a break and come back and do that. Market Day Report continues after this. Cash cattle developed yesterday at 190 in the south. We saw 300 for dressed in the north and still have a little more to maybe clean up before the end of the week. We'll watch and see what develops later today. Right now, the livestock markets are open and trading. Live cattle futures front month at 193.27. That's $1.02 higher. 92 higher on the February at 192.30. And notice that the April contract really is the top right now at 193.20. Now the December taking it back. But after that, we move into the deferreds and we start moving lower. What about the feeders? We've really watched the feeders take off this year. January up 60 at 259.65. And roll out to that August contract, still quite a bit of optimism, 264.85, that's a dime higher. And speaking of optimism, there's been optimism in the hog trade as well. And this is coming off of a pretty good looking inspection report from USDA's weekly export sales report. Remember, we have the sales and then we have the inspections. The inspections, that's what we're actually putting on the ship or putting in a container and sending. And that was up 5% week over week. D's at 83.62, up 12. Let's bring back in Tommy Grisafi, Nesvick Trading. And what are you watching on the livestock?
We're watching the optimism of the rancher. I have the privilege of working with several folks who raise cattle, and they're optimistic. Things are good, and they're smart enough to know bad times will happen. But the fundamentals, Tony, are so bullish. And then you take what happened out of Mexico, that news out of Mexico a few weeks ago, and they just continue to go up. But the thing I have to wonder is, if I go out to a nice restaurant, this sounds odd, but I've been ordering like different things besides beef, like duck and other proteins. And when I look at the menu, the steaks are the most expensive, and I seem to only order them when someone else is paying the bill. So I don't know about you, what your diet looks like, but to go out to a fine restaurant and order steaks, it's becoming expensive. My question is, the American economy and the world economy healthy enough to support this high price of beef when you have alternatives like chicken, pork, duck, or fish, or anything else? So we'll keep our eye on it. The stock market is close towards record high. Hey, Tony, maybe the people buying the steak are the Bitcoin traders. Back to you, my friend.
All right. Again, great information. Tommy Grisafi with Nesvick Trading. Want to bring up a couple of other quick markets before we toss it back to Tammy.